Start small. Don't start big to say I'm gonna change the world. Change your world. I always create a word or slogan for the year. What does this year say to you? If you were to have a conversation with yourself on December the 31st compared to January the 1st of 2025, what would that conversation say? What would have happened? Where would you have gone? What would you have seen? What didn't happen? What did you achieve? What didn't you achieve? What did you do every day? And what didn't you do? Who did you speak to and who didn't you speak to? Where did you learn? What didn't you learn? So on and so forth. And at the end, you encapsulate it into a word. You encapsulate it into a saying, a slogan. And that's what you need to carry. There's something about me that I believe is much greater than just the life I live. And there's some of you watching this at the beginning of your journey where it's like, I get the feeling that I can change. I get the feeling that things can improve. I get the feeling that maybe there's something out there that I can do, but I just don't quite know. I'm a bit cautious about, people saying, make sure you do the right thing, make sure you follow this certain route. But I feel resistant to it. I don't feel as if it's truly inhabiting who I am. I don't feel as if it's a true expression of who I am. There's systems and processes you have. That may be the time you wake up, the time you sleep, the amount of food you eat, the amount of takeaway you eat, where you go shopping and where you don't go shopping. You can start to improve the habits you have to work in a way that works for you, not in a way that deters you. That takes a lot of confidence to believe that what you're going to do is going to work. That also means that you have to remind yourself that what you're doing is going to work. You're improving yourself. So you're shedding old skin and you're growing to a new being. You're letting go of things and thoughts of the past and you're doing stuff in a new way. Things that might feel uncomfortable, things that may draw you back from, can I even do this? But it's all a part of your improvement. I've always found this discussion with my clients about fear very intriguing because it's not a physical thing. It's more of a mental understanding and a spiritual in terms of it is outside of the self in what you believe you can do and what you think is holding you back. It's almost as if it keeps you in your comfort zone, in a place that feels well known, in a place that feels, okay, I'm in control, and stops you from doing what else you can do. So with that idea, can fear be you? Or even better, fear isn't to be scared of, but to use to become more aware of. Improvement is about better than before, right? If you're better than before, what about that certain area, whether it's your health, whether it's your career, whether it's your finances, could be better than before? Answer that question, think about it, and work from there. And we shrink down the supernatural power of God, of Jesus, of Allah, of the universe, some people call it, to the human level. If this happens, then this happens, then this happens. Yeah, it's this simple formula, that's the way. But no, there's things that supersede our understanding. That's what we call coincidences. There's things that override our comprehension. That's what we call deja vu. As we love to discuss on the channel about the human being that we're working with, there's a physical element, there's a mental element, there's an emotional element, and there's a spiritual element. So in the spiritual element, trusting God beyond your human understanding allows for you to be free. And that's what the Bible is about. That desire, that big goal is going to happen regardless. But what you need to focus on, what you are concerned about is, did you do what you're meant to do today? That's the type of improvement I'm talking about. What did you do today? And be accountable. Be sincere with yourself. Be genuine. Did you do anything or didn't you? Because you're understanding, am I actually improving or am I falling back? Have I been able to track my progress or did I not even track it at all so that I've forgotten about it completely? Improvement takes dedication towards the cause. Dedication towards yourself, to your words about what you say you're going to do, about who you want to become. Improvement is a wonderful thing because improvement is what makes things better. Improvement is what makes change. Improvement is what this conversation is about and is why you came here. Because you want to improve. You want to see difference. You want something else. You want to change. You want something you know that you can have. So do it. You might feel something in your heart, you might feel something in your stomach, you might feel your mind pertain to a scenario, an experience, a time and place where things were better and you did certain things. You were around certain type of people, and that keeps replaying. You feel motivated to do this thing that you've been putting off. You feel connected to something that you saw online that triggers some interest to embark on it, and you look at it. You give yourself time to reflect on it. Are you sure? Is that what you want to do? Is that something that intrigues you? Ask yourself, because it's you going through it. And I'm sure you faced a few things that you wish you didn't, but it's brought you here. So let's think about it. Challenges play their part in order to strengthen, in order to learn from, and in order to prepare for. As you go through anything in this life, if it's a challenge, if it's something that comes easy to you, you get to recognize, is this a part of me that I need to develop to grow myself? Or is it a part of me that I already have been through, so it comes naturally, I know to navigate this situation, this environment, this person? Or is it something I can utilize in the future? Use it to your advantage. That's what we always say here. Use you to your advantage. Your mentality, your spirituality, your physicality, and your emotionality. The 4 compartments of your human being. When we overthink, there's an interplay between rumination of the past and worry of the future, right? When you overthink, it plays on, okay, what happened? What went wrong? What couldn't I do? What didn't I do? What could I have changed? The past. And worry about the future. Is that going to happen again? Is it going to be worse? What am I going to do then? The future. That's rumination. That's worry. How would you say that affects you today? Does it take away from the fact that you're awake? The fact that you're learning to get back on your feet? What does that have an effect on you today? Be a warrior in your battles. Be an artist in your creativity. Be God in your presence. Be water in your stillness. Be a bee in your sting. Be a shepherd in your guidance. Be an eagle in your vision. Be time in your continuum. Be a soldier in your discipline. Be a gardener in your patience. Be a flame in your passion. Be an anchor in your stability. Be a mirror in your honesty. Be a hunter in your resilience. Be a sword in your truth. Be a child in your curiosity. Be feminine in your emotions. Be a servant in your giving. Be an ocean in your depth. Be a star in your inspiration. Be the wind in your freedom. Be a seed in your potential. You understand your body is okay going through something right now. Now, because it's not the focal point. The focal point is doing the job, doing the task, saying what needs to be said. That's where your focus is. So now is, I can do this. I am prepared for this. I am ready for this. Whatever that is, your focus changes. When your focus changes, you've reclaimed your energy, you've reclaimed yourself, and you're acting in accordance of who it is you truly are. Not a fearful, frightful person who can't speak, who is always unable to do what they need to do, but the person you want to become. To make something happen, something needs to happen before that. To make a specific goal, such as 6 a.m., what needs to be put in place before that? That looks like 3 simple things. Sleeping on time. To wake up at 6 a.m., you need to have a sufficient amount of sleep. That sufficient amount of sleep means that you can wake up at that time without feeling groggy, without feeling as if it is such a hard task. So, sleep on time. Another area to look at, what is that process leading up to 6 a.m.? Are your things in order for that day? Instead of waking up at 6 a.m. and frantically thinking, what do I need to do? Preparing the day before will allow you to be prepared for what's to come. If you're prompt in a way of thinking, if you're going to challenge yourself, ask yourself, what in my life do I want to change? What about myself do I want to change? You might see yourself as the person who's done it all, achieved it all. Or you're too anxious and too scared to do anything at all. Where are you? Who are you? In that scale. And identify it. Clarify it with yourself. Then you know, what within that can I change? Can I have a conversation with a stranger? Can I just say hello as I walk by them? Good morning, to improve my confidence? Can I learn a new skill in relation to a goal of mine to earn more money? Negative thinking, it has its place, it has its purpose, but it doesn't have to control you. It doesn't have to overcome you. It doesn't have to replace you. And what I mean by that is replace your truth, replace the reason you even started, replace the reason you're moving forward and trying to change the situation you're in. There's different type of challenges, things that feel extremely hard to do or things that feel like they're easier to do. So how do you embark on the right type of challenge? One way I tell my clients to look at it is a challenge can stretch you to the point you feel you cannot do a single thing. It paralyzes your thoughts, you feel as if there's too much, it's overwhelming, and that point is not what we're looking for. Another way to look at a challenge is it's so easy, you know it like the back of your hand, you know it with your eyes closed, you can do it just without any effort at all. We're not looking for that either. We're looking to have a challenge that sits in between that, in between those two spectrums. That is a challenge that's worthwhile. That is a challenge that pushes you, makes it easy enough to advance, to develop, to go forward. That type of challenge is going to motivate you, is going to inspire you, and is going to make sure you continuously work on it. It's about how you communicate with others. It's not about feeling self-conscious of what you think others think about yourself, but how you see yourself and what you have and not what you don't have. You improve that one area and you notice change. That change invokes more change, positive change, in a direction that's going to help you achieve your goals. Believe in being the person you want to be. Because you have to start seeing yourself as that end goal. You have to start seeing yourself as that person who can do it. You have to start seeing yourself as that person who has it. You have to start seeing yourself there now. Without that, there's no attachment, there's no ideation, there's no momentum towards the goal, towards the achievement, towards what you want. I have to remind myself to believe in myself. The foundation of my life wasn't built upon believing yourself, but believing things can happen. So with that understanding, I can now look, okay, so if I need to achieve something, I got to believe in me. I got to believe in my capabilities. I got to believe that this can happen through what I can do. To embark on something new, to try something out, to be somewhere you haven't been, to enjoy something that you missed out on. Give yourself an opportunity to see the world differently. Maybe that requires a new mindset. Maybe that requires a new attitude. Maybe that requires a new sense of self. The way you see yourself, the way you think of yourself, the way you see others, the way you think others look at you. Change it. Adhere it to something you want to be, to the person you want to see, and also the place you want to be in life. If you did something differently, you disrupt the autopilot. The way once we hear the alarm, we're up, getting ready, straight into what we do. Yes, we have a routine to do things, but can they be done in a different way? It may disrupt the autopilot of, once this happens, negative thoughts flood our mind. It might disrupt the autopilot of, once I'm in this environment, I switch off and I'm not present here. What would doing one thing differently do for you? Would it reset your energy? Would it change your perspective? Would it feel strange and uncomfortable? Or will it help you begin the journey of improving yourself? Begin to allow yourself to be okay with a mistake, allow yourself to be okay with not everything being 100%. And that comes from a place of, what do you tell yourself? These are questions I'm asking for you to think about yourself. To think about why you clicked on this video and think about how you can use you to your advantage. It starts by defining your vision, defining your goal. Essentially, what is it you want? Make that goal idea crystal clear. I want to save £1,000. Excellent. I want to lose 5 kg of weight. Excellent. I want to go on walks every week. Excellent. Make it so clear that even a baby can understand what it is you're looking for. Because when it comes that clear at any level, it no longer becomes overwhelming. It no longer becomes complicated. And it is something that you know that you can do. When you have negative thoughts, are you going to let them override you, ruin your day, distract you from what you're meant to be doing, deter you from doing anything at all? Or are you going to face them and say, you know what, these thoughts are coming to me, but they're not going to encapsulate me. They're not going to ruin me. They're not going to upset me. I'm just going to let them come and let them go. My main goal and priority is to work on myself, work on my well-being, work on my mentality, my physicality, my spirituality, my emotionality. And if I'm doing that, I'm doing the right thing for me. And if I'm doing the right thing for me, others feel that fruition. My friends, my family, my work colleagues, they sense that this person is trying. And it's not even for them, it's really for myself, so that I feel as if I'm doing okay. So that I feel as if I can do something for another day. Now, what do I have to do to get that? Answer it. What do you feel you need to do? Is that researching something? Is that asking a friend? Is that asking a mentor or coach, myself, in what direction you need to take? Who is the appropriate person? Or is that asking AI, ChatGPT? That action plan leads into the next step, which leads on to the next step. And soon enough, you're now taking action, whether that's doing a thing or researching what to do in attaining that goal. Regardless, it's all moving steps towards that goal. That means there's an emotional attachment to the outcome. There's an emotional attachment to how well you're doing it. And there's emotional attachment to, is this the right thing at all? Can I even do this? All in the idea of what you can do, your capability, your ability. And that all includes fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear of doing wrong, which falls in line with what is the objective and what are you actually meant to be doing. Is there a lack of clarity, a lack of understanding? Is there a lack of being able to uplift yourself that, okay, you've done this well, let's move on?